So from the moment you're born, congratulations, your whole life is being documented. From the moment you open your eyes and those pictures are taken and you're with your mom and your dad and all these great pictures, and immediately within 24 hours, they are posted online. I know, because I did it when my son was born. Welcome to the digital age. So let's talk about it and the effects that it'll have on that child as they grow up. Welcome to Breaking Formation. Welcome to Breaking Formation, a show about how to navigate life's challenges in this digital age and age of artificial intelligence. I'm your co-host, Merryl Tengesdal, retired Air Force Colonel, pilot by trade, and I'm here with my co-host, resident child development expert, youth therapist, and welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited to be here.
That's awesome. So let's get into it. Parents sharing photos of their kids when they're out of the womb in their hair. And let's just make sure we clear the air with this. Number one, parents are doing this from a place of love.
Mm-hmm.
They want to share with their family members. This is all, they have other family members that may not be able to be there. They're not there locally, so they're sharing all this information. Grandparents want to know what's happening. But the sharing or Sharenting can become almost obsessive and quite irritating. And for a child that's growing up from the ages of 0 to about 5, it's cute. But when they start turning 6 and 7 and become aware, and 8 through 11 and 12, so on, it could be something that was once cute could become very embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
It could affect the child in certain ways. And so, how does that happen? Or what is there some progression that happens, and what happens to kids psychologically when they see their parents constantly sharing information that they haven't given permission to on social media? What does that do to them?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, and I just want to comment. I think about like when we were younger, we had the like sticky back page of the photo album, right? And like if you wanted to take it, we went to the 1 hour photo. We had to wait, for 1 hour or sometimes a week to get our photos. Now everything's instantaneous.
Yes.
And it's not the same thing. And so something happens like real time, it's getting posted. And so a lot of things get posted, like the kids, having an accident or all of those things that could be really, really embarrassing. That's open for the world to see, not just grandma and grandpa, but the world to see. So it can have a lot of impact on kiddos and how their identity is forming through those early stages of life. I think it's important to remember is our brains grow from the bottom up, inside out. So the innermost core of our brains is our basic foundation, and that can be formed in that 0 to 3 years of life, right? And so what happens is that information, that interaction we have with our big people, so to speak, mom, dad, grandparents, and all of that stuff, really forms our ability to have relationships and how we human for the rest of our life. So if the phone then becomes one of the big people, right, then our relationship actually develops with the phone because it becomes a center figure in our development of how our brains are wired. So it's really then becomes essential to our survival. Try taking away the phone, from a teenager, and they'll lose their mind because essentially they were growing up with it part of their survival.
So let me make sure I understand this. So if you have a child from 0 to 3 and you spend most of your time taking selfies,
Hmm.
that will affect the child in significant ways, especially as they get older. They're looking at the phone as a way of connecting
Hmm.
with that person.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had a light bulb moment. That
Okay.
explains a lot
Yeah.
with one of my kids. So, and why is that? Why is that such a? You're talking about in the brain development that it wires in a way that says that this phone is a must for
Hmm.
this type of connection.
Right.
Hmm.
I can see those wheels spinning in your brain, just trying to figure it all out.
Yes, that explains so much, and
Mhm.
it explains so much of some behaviors that I've seen before.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, kind of this is a little bit off script, but I think this is an important part of the conversation. And maybe at some point we can have a deeper conversation around this. So that 0 to 3 is where our attachment develops. And so there is a theory in the psychotherapy world, it's the attachment theory. A lot of research is being done, have been done over the last, 60, 80. I first came to really the forefront in the 60s. And during the research, they found 4 distinct attachment styles between baby and mom. I'm not going to go into all of that because that's a whole nother like segment all on its own.
Okay.
But basically, what there are the 4 distinct attachment styles is the secure attachment. Basically, that is a strong connection between mom and I shouldn't say mom because the parental role looks different for some families, but the big person. So
Right.
the big person that is forming that bond with that baby. The secure attachment is the big person is attuned to that baby's needs, responds on cue, knows what that baby needs, and is able to create this safe and secure bond with the baby. The next attachment style is what's called the avoidant attachment style, and that's basically based on big person's inconsistency in attuning to that baby's needs. That baby's needs are met physically and materially, but sometimes the parent or the big person misses the emotional need. So that's where the phones come in a lot. When mom's on the phone scrolling through social media, baby's over here crying or had just skinned a knee, and mom just pats, the baby on the head and says, "You're fine, you'll be fine," or videos it, but doesn't attune to the baby. So she's videoing the baby falling and down and crying and screaming, but doesn't hold and attune to the baby. That can then create the avoidant attachment style. And these are all coulds, woulds, shoulds. This isn't anything set in
Right.
silent science or set in stone, I should say. Which means as the adult or as that kid grows up, they form this very fierce independence where they don't trust that the people that they're in relationship are going to be a safe person to get their needs met. So they tend to push people away. They tend to cut people off. They don't trust. They are all about themselves. So that's kind of the avoidant attachment. The next one is the anxious attachment, where again, the big person is inconsistent, but in a way that the baby has to figure out what's going on. And so what then happens to the baby is the baby shape shifts to meet that parent's need. So if the mom says, "Sing and dance for me," and the baby just wants to sit and read the book, to get mom's attention or mom's attachment, the baby will shapeshift and dance and sing for mom, even though the baby wants to read the book.
Wow.
Yeah. So as they grow up, that child, that adult really then will shapeshift to try to maintain relationships. And so it's always kind of this scrambling and this fear, this innate fear that my big person or the person I'm attached to is going to leave me if I don't show up in the way that that person wants me to. And so then the last one is a disorganized attachment style, which is kind of a combination of both. It's like this flood of some days the baby, if you will, we're going to use the term baby, or the kid is very fiercely independent, but some days they're also very clingy in attachment. But there's this innate fear that, oh, I'm not good enough at the core, regardless of what I do. If I shapeshift for mom or I be my own person, I'm not good enough either way. So I kind of went on a whole tangent, in terms of what happens, but I think about, that's really, really important. And it's forgotten a lot about, when you're filming, the baby in the bathtub, or you're filming, well, you're not filming your baby in the bathtub, but sometimes you do. Right.
Yeah.
But, I think sometimes it's forgotten about what's actually happening in the brain, as the kiddo is growing up.
That was I love that explanation.
Yeah.
I mean, that says a lot. So it creates a kid that wants to attach basically by using phones or some type of social media. So now I'm interested. As this person becomes a teenager, I would think that this could be detrimental because now pictures are so important in the being digitally connected. Suppose they interact with another teen who believes in getting pictures of a inappropriate nature, and how easy it is for kids to be able to fall in that trap, or to be solicited online to do something that involves filming or something to have this connection.
Yeah.
Is this something that is possible that can happen in the future?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, thinking about it as, again, what's core central in our brain, it becomes our survival. And our brains are, in very simplistic terms, divided into 3 sections. So bottom part of our brain is our survival brain. It's where memories, our bodily functions, moving our hands, all of that stuff is in the bottom part of our brain, our survival brain. It's unconscious. It is not our operating brain. We don't think about those things. Think about, a lot of people their phone, the first thing they grab in the morning is their phone. They don't even think about it. They grab their phone and check their social media. It just becomes an unconscious habit. The second part of our brain is our relational brain, which is how we connect with humans. And it becomes integrated as kids get older. And then the front part of our brain is our prefrontal cortex. That's our thinking brain, right? So as our brains develop, it becomes very integrated and it becomes part of one. But if we are in survival brain, we don't really always have full access to our thinking brain. Teenagers' brains aren't fully developed until their 20s. Their research is showing boys' brains don't develop until the age of 27, whereas girls are about 23, 24. So yes, they get asked by some creeper on, on one of the video games that they're playing, hey, you look cute, da 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 da, whatever it is, let's form a relationship. So then it becomes about, one, the kid's survival, the desire for connection, the fact that they're getting attention, the dopamine's lighting up in their brain because now they have someone paying attention to them. It's a very slippery, it can be a very slippery slope without education around the dangers that lie in social media, but also too what it is about connection.
So as a parent right now, I'm like rethinking life choices.
100%.
And I'm not trying to beat myself up, and I've been trying to navigate this myself. As my kids get older, I'm really sensitive to the fact is if can I take this picture with you, or do this video with you, and number 2, once I do it, I show it to them, and say, is this acceptable for me to post or to print or to use in a way? And they'll ask me like, well, what's it for? One child is always about, sure, you can post whatever, but the other one like scrutinizes me and like, is it going to be on your my one child will be like, is it going to be on your for 24 hours or is it going to be permanent on your feed? Like, they
Yeah,
know these
they
things.
got questions.
Right. So, what is something, wow, what is something that as parents we could do? Because I see other parents post their kids and I see the old pictures of their kids like sitting in the bathtub naked and I'm like, your child, yeah, your child right now is going to 13 years old, and you still have these pictures. Like, remove them.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things as parents that we can do, and then what are some things that kids as they get older? Because I think it's very frustrating for a child when parents are like, "Take a picture. Let me take a picture of you," and they're like, "No, I don't want this." They want that privacy.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hold these things down. I know I asked a lot of questions
Yeah.
just now, but as a parent, let's start with that one. As a parent, what can we do to kind of have them keep their private space?
Well, I think you said it first and foremost is asking, and I don't necessarily want to say asking permission, but I guess asking permission in the most simplest of terms. But you're giving your child agency, right?
Mm,
In terms of, yes, that feels good and comfortable to me. I feel confident in that picture being posted. I feel good about myself. I feel, esteemed. That's a part of my message that I want to get out to the world, right? So I think again, including your child in the decision of what's going to be posted for your child online. I think that's important because it gives that kiddo that sense of agency. Like I can make these decisions. I can make these decisions well. There's an element of control there, which again is good, especially as the teenagers develop their own independence and their own sense of self. So, including the kiddo in the decision making of what gets posted is number one.
okay.
I think number two, I learned this kind of the hard way during COVID with my kids. My kids were both teenagers during COVID, and all they did all day long was were on their social media, and they got social media friends, and they got a lot of friends, because no one else was in person, everyone was online. And so I kind of gave my kids free realm because I was a quote unquote essential worker, right? So I wasn't at home. My kids were home all day by themselves. And then I'm like, what the heck are they doing online all day long? Whatever. So I started to do like research on their phones. They're going to hate that I say all this, but whatever. And I'm like, who is this, Joe Brown person that lives in Indiana? Like, why is he on one of your followers? Who is this? So I think really educating kids on the importance of safety is really important, as well of because not everyone is well intended online. And so, really educating the kids of the risks that are out there with regards to social media.
Okay. So if I was, I'm thinking as a pilot right now. So really, the mission effectiveness, getting your young child to be a functioning adult and being this person who takes agency of their life and are confident in what they do. Part of the pre-flight planning in this aspect to help your kid is one, sitting down and talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting down and talking to them about, hey, I have these pictures or I've taken this video and I want to post these. Am I able to? And getting some buy-in. I mean,
Right.
as an adult, we could say, you're mine, you do as I say, this is how it is. But if you want to have if you want to have a relationship that's more positive and more communication, I would
Mm-hmm.
think that's what you would do. Number two, understand and explain to your child and communicate to them that everyone is not well intentioned.
Right.
Everyone has, you have those people out there that have ill will towards
Mm-hmm.
and are predatory towards younger
Right.
people and exploit any weakness, especially in the social media realm. Especially in our last episode that we talked about, having these feelings that you want to be 100% and someone feeds into that, they can use that to exploit
Mm-hmm.
you. And so to have those conversations, so when they go on their mission or they're going to college or they're interacting with other people that you may not have control over, they know
Mm-hmm.
these things. So
Right.
I think those are, good words of wisdom to do. And for the parents out there, stop posting all these pictures. It's a hot mess. We don't want to see them when they were in the bathtub.
No.
Remove that immediately. Keep that and share it with the grandparents on another
on the wedding day, right?
Share it on the wedding day, because I'm telling you, my son, I already got the picture ready to go for him.
That's awesome. So awesome.
So Shea, there are other times where we know parents are well intentioned, but we talked about the fact as a parent, we'll talk to our kids. But sometimes parents don't talk to their kids. No. And they don't care. They're going to post what they're going to post. Mm-hmm. So as a kid, how do you take ownership of this and start a conversation with your parents? Because it's something that may incite some arguments, some frustrations, words may be said. A parent who might think they are good intention is really kind of destroying the young teen's life in their eyes, in their perspective. So how can a young person approach this with some emotional intelligence and not turn into a screaming match?
Yeah, and I think that's really first and foremost, maybe not in the heat of an argument, definitely don't bring that conversation up in the heat of an argument. But I think really using I statements, coming from a place of feeling and emotion and spoken, again, we use the word agency today, but going back to a place of agency of, this doesn't feel good to me, Mom. I don't feel comfortable with this picture of me in the bathtub still on social media. That doesn't feel good to me. And so I think that hopefully if the kiddo can communicate in a way that is authentic, the message will be received.
Yeah, so there are some times I will admit there's sometimes school drop off with my kids. Towards the end, my son was in 6th grade. He hated it. I was like, I want to take a picture, and he's like, Mom, no. I'm your mom, and I would guilt trip him.
Yeah,
and he would roll his eyes, and sometimes I'd let him slide. I'd be like, okay, you don't have to take the picture. Parents, you need to actually have your ears open and understand the body language also. Mm-hmm. And there are other times you can push just a little bit and go, come on. Mm-hmm. But as parents, let's give our kids that room to say no and to respect them for it and to say, okay, good job. I love the fact that you talked to me in a way that was, respectful, and it was assertive, but not too assertive. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, a connection point with kids as well.
Well, and I think it's important, it's okay to take the picture, right? It's okay to take the picture. What is the picture for, right? Is the picture to get, like we talked about in the first episode, is the picture to go on social media so you get tons of likes? Right. Or is the picture to capture a memory? And so a lot of my pictures that I take aren't necessarily the ones that make it on social media, because they're good, heartfelt memories for me that mean all the world and that I want to remember. My son, he's in college, and we've been taking the first day of school pictures since preschool, right? And I have them holding the signs, all of that stuff from preschool to now. So my son on his first day of college sent me a picture. It's not going on social media, but it's him holding a sign in his 6'3" self, he's wearing his socks in the grass. I'm not sure why he wasn't having shoes on the first day of school, but that's okay. He's away at college. I don't have control over that. But he kept the tradition alive. That's not going on social media. That is a heartfelt, memory that he kept and also honored our tradition.
Oh, that's cute.
And so I think that, again, those memories and the things that are heartfelt, those aren't necessarily the ones that are going to make it online.
No, they definitely won't. I mean, every year I have family photos every year of my kids.
Yeah.
And I split them up into each kids and then stuff they do together. Mm-hmm. So it's it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
very
parents,
neat.
Remember that. And kids, be assertive, be respectful, and communicate at the end of the day.
Exactly.
That's it for today. I mean, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
If you like this, subscribe, follow us, and more to follow. We're going to get more into attachment and some other interesting things for the next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Some brain spotting. I will be on the hot seat. I'm a little nervous about that, but
It's going to be fun. Stay tuned for that, folks.
Let's go. And thanks again. Breaking Formation. Have a great day.
All right. Be well, you guys.